Hey, it's Mark here, and I wanted to address a little question that keeps coming up. When we see people who are dispassionate, now let's narrow this down to chiropractors who are dispassionate, or it's sort of lost the mojo. And this can be new grads. In fact, it's very commonly new grads who have just gone through that hammering of 4 or 5 years in a chiropractic college or university, and they just can't wait to get out, but just to get away from it and just to get a breath of fresh air. And it's sort of sad to see that, because it'd be really nice if we came into this profession in an inspired way. But at the same time, we see seasoned chiropractors just giving up on the profession, giving up on practice, and looking for an easier way, or maybe an earlier way to retire and get out of it. And that lack of passion there is equally as damaging, I think, to self and to the team, and also to the public. So this is something that I think is really well worth digging a little bit deeper into. And what I've noticed is that the common denominator with this lack of passion, this sort of feeling that, oh my gosh, it's all too much, is a sameness. It's like everything becomes the same. And within that, then, there's an antidote. There's an element, there's a spark that will reignite one's passion, that will reignite one's zest for living. And that is curiosity. Curiosity, yeah. Being really curious about how the world works. Really curious about the essence of life, to look at something with fresh eyes, to see it in a new way. And this is in no other area more true than in the essence of what we deal with as chiropractors. We're dealing with the very substance of life itself, not the matter, not the physical stuff. It's the thing that motivates and animates that. And we're seeing that either turned off or turned on every day of our lives. And in our professional context, this is a huge opportunity for us to revitalize our reason for being, our big why. And so when you're looking at a practice member, see that practice member as this amazingly complex, totally unique, never to be reproduced again, individual who's got a take on life, a viewpoint that is totally different to everyone else, that they're motivated and run by a force that is unique to their expression. And our job is to find out how it ticks. That's the essence of tick. That's the essence of chiropractic, is to facilitate that learning that's within, that wisdom that is within. And when we do that, we hook into that. We hook into the amazingness of it, and we sit in a state of wonder at the power that lies within, and the humbleness then that is us. The fact that we are just a mere facilitator of that. We're an observer of that. We're not fixing that person. We're there as a bystander with a little bit of input, a little bit of insight, and a few tweaks here and a few tweaks there, allowing that person to go to their next level of their greatness. And within that, we cannot help but be inspired. We cannot help but go to a higher level of our contribution. And we watch as our impact is shown before us, as we work with a person over time. And remember, this chiropractic thing is a long-term thing. It's a long game. It's watching as one would as a shepherd watching the sheep as they mature and they grow, and protecting them from those things that might impact on them, or an arborist who's there to look after the forest and to allow it to go through its sustainability in an unhampered way. And so this is the nature of life. It knows what to do as long as there's no interference. So I just got home from a bike ride, and I thought I need to add a couple of bits to this. So let's just do some graphics as we're going through this point that we're making on curiosity. And within this, we have the model that we use, which is a model of the brain, which is what we call the innate model. And this represents the brain with the right and the left sides and the back and the front of the brain, to just give you an idea of location there. I wanted to look at this in terms of this process we call curiosity, because it's a driver of all invention. It's a driver of what it is that we decide is our worldview. And so within this, then, curiosity is in the front part of the brain on the right. It gives us the bigger picture. It looks at everything that is so out there. It adds questions to our reality, and wants to know more about things. It has this insatiable drive, and you'll see children and babies that they're just constantly experimenting, constantly looking out to the world to find out more, to ask questions and delve into the minutiae of whatever they're confronted with at a point in time. And so, as a chiropractor, this is what we're driven to. You know, our philosophical basis is a really important part of us, and it's that why. It's our understanding of the context that we're working with, our reason for being, and how TIC works, and the wonders of chiropractic. So this is what we're driven by. Now, every one of us has the counterpart of this, which balances us out. And the counterpart here is what's known as our voids. Our voids are the things that will come up when our curiosity discovers something. And when the curiosity dives in and finds something there, the voids are going to be around those things that are missing, those things that are not from our past experience, which is a reference through into the left-hand side of the brain. Our past experience didn't work out, aren't congruent, or don't fit with the paradigm that we've taken on board. So our curiosity is constantly at odds with the missing parts, if you like, the negative, the area that won't work. And those areas that won't work are only based on our previous experience. They're not necessarily true, but we carry them as if they're true. And this is where we can really drive ourselves down as chiropractors. We see things, we imagine stuff, we look into the future, and then we come into the naysayer part of our brain, where we talk ourselves out of it. We say, "Oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not enough. Those are the rules that we have for our life," and they may or may not be true, but we take them always as being true. And so this relationship here between being curious and having a part of ourselves that's there to protect us, it's there to make sure that we don't get into trouble and that we survive, that often it can be something that drives us down. It starts to run us in a way that may not be useful. So if we look then at the third quadrant, and that is where our values are. Our values start to get expressed at this level, where we're saying, okay, I'm curious about this and I have a big why about it. This is where my philosophy is. And the part that wants to protect me, the voids, are telling me it's not going to work, it's not going to be okay. And so what we want to do here within our life is to make up for the things that are missing, the things that won't work, by making things happen. And this is where we can actually take our philosophy and craft it into our offering, our technique, our communication, our connection with people. So those things there are what run us, that allow us to roll out the thing that we're exploring, the why, that's been filtered by the part that may be missing from that. And the quadrant 3 part will actually start to create a solution to that by virtue of our values. And so this is where we want to help people, we want to support people, we want to get people around us that's going to take that thing that we imagine and bring it into reality. So this is where we make stuff, we do stuff, and we work within these voids. And often the values are actually balancing out for the voids, and so they're trying to compensate for the voids of this perception of something missing, for example. And this then takes us into a position where we're at a push-pull as chiropractors in terms of we're feeling a bit burned out, we're losing sight of our dream, we're losing sight of our why. The voids are having a good go at us and agreeing with that. And so the values, we know that there's something there that's of value, but we tend to start to reduce our energy in this quadrant 3 part because the voids are giving too much airtime and the values aren't allowing to express. And this is where chiropractors can become dispassionate. They start to lose the mojo. They start to see things from a smaller perspective, because both of these areas are hindbrain and they are small. And so what we are given the opportunity here for, and that is to be drawn towards this thing up here that expresses as purpose. So when we take the time to take our curiosity, filter it through a rational form of thinking, a logical structure of looking at the past, looking at the facts, challenging our voids, looking at what we perceive as missing and seeing where it is actually complete and is present, we can then fire our values to a high level. We can refine our technique. We can get clearer on our communication. We can observe what it is, what's true and real in our experience relative to our philosophy. We can then turn connection around and we increase our connection. And that then allows us to redefine our purpose, to get really clear on our purpose, because the purpose will draw us. It will draw us up in this direction. It takes us away from thinking small. It takes us into the big picture, and that in turn fuels our curiosity. So the more purposeful we are, the more purpose we have, the bigger our world seems. And now this is not just in terms of the mega stuff, the outside stuff. It's also about the small stuff, the things with every individual that we're working with. If we can see the bigness of the little stuff, that's really, really powerful. And that's fueled by our purpose. It's our reason for why. It's our philosophy for being. It's what we're here for. Okay, so let's jump back to the beach. And as chiropractors, this is what we do to observe and to be there to tend the flock, if you like, of your practice members, to allow them to ascend to their level of greatness. So that within itself is inspiring. That then allows us to say, hey, this is amazing. How can I do better? How can I do more? How can I take this to the next level? How can I affect more people and provide more services? Maybe not as myself, but maybe as a leverage form. So I bring in other people to work with me. And that then becomes a self-perpetuating phenomena where there's no way we can be burned out. We cannot be burned out if we're working in our passion, if we're working with our love, if we're working on our mission. So consider that when it comes to your practice. Consider it to be a transformative element of who you are and what you do. And that is to be curious about every little thing, to be curious about the effects of every adjustment that you make, of every word that you say, and every word that the person says or doesn't say, to be curious about how is this so? Isn't this amazing? Isn't this fascinating? Rather than just same old, get through the day, see the numbers, go home and watch TV and have a beer, whatever it is, It's about being curious about the moment by moment things as they occur. And within that then, you'll ascend to a high level of vibration, a high level of energy. And if you want some assistance with that, we're only too happy to help out. Just give us a yell at Quest, and we can sit down and work out a strategy where you can find yourself again. You can get back into the reason why you got into this profession in the first place, and resurrect your practice, or resurrect yourself as an individual, as a carer, based on your promise to yourself when you got into chiropractic as a graduating student. So, wherever level you're at, make sure that you're on your game, filled with curiosity, and allowing that energy that flows from it to impact on every part of your world. And that's your contribution. So until soon, I'm Dr. Mike Postles. Cheers.